My work just gave me a 2 weeks notice. It was clear that they'd overhired. There wasn't enough work for all the workers, so we all sort of saw it coming. I'd had some attendance issues related to depression, so I knew that if they did a round of layoffs, I was vulnerable to do that. By today I'd worked for about 5.5 months in the company. From October to February. They told me they were laying me off, and I told them I'd seen it coming and no hard feelings. They then deliberately postdated the last day to March 1st so I'd have another month of bennies in. Gave me 2 weeks PTO to help me look for a new job. This also, coincidentally, stretched my time worked so that I just barely qualified for unemployment in my state, which has a cutoff for jobs worked less than 6 months, and made sure the paperwork reflected that it was a layoff, not a firing. Also, despite being a ground floor level worker and not even on the job for a full year, and despite being in at-will state, I got a small severance package, and they made sure that I knew that I was eligible for rehire. Basically, they bent over backwards, at least relative to a lot of at-will employers, to make the layoff less hard than it could have been. All told, 10 out of 10 would get laid off there again. They did everything they should have done and nothing they shouldn't. For the record, the company's name is MotiveCare, and if you are a call center type, they're probably the best place I've ever worked at. If you need an entry-level job and can get in there, I highly recommend it. My work cut off benefits at midnight if my last day. Turns out it's not illegal, just not standard and very dickish. For the record, I was told when I hired that they had a huge problem with retention in the past and it was hurting the professionalism of the call center. They needed people who knew how to handle medical information properly and people who could be professional, and the high churn was proving difficult with that. So they overhauled their training. Made it 2 full months of full-time training, including a care camp, where workers were carefully coached and given feedback on how to do better and carefully instructed on how the company wanted things done. This was a new policy when I got hired, and it was so effective at increasing retention that I think that's part of how they wound up overstaffed. People weren't churning at the rate they expected because of their training overhaul, and they wound up overstaffed in the middle of a worker shortage. As a result, again, in the modern working environment, having too many workers choose to stay reflects well on them. I got laid off my job in 2019. It was a small tech company. They gave me 8 weeks notice of the layoff and 6 weeks severance pay. I only worked there 2 years. Plus they gave me money for 2 months of COBRA. They cut my health insurance on my last day. Instead of letting it go to the end of the month, I pocketed the COBRA dollar and made other health insurance arrangements. On the last day they had a lunch for the people leaving. Weird. But okay. I was treated well there. Finally some sunshine in this sub! Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. The day I quit working for Liberty Mutual Insurance, they cut my insurance benefits. That day. Hope you find something soon. I got laid off. Well, not really. Read on. From a large U.S. bank in 2018, and 10 out of 10 recommend. They gave us 3 months notice of the layoff. 8 weeks minimum severance. Some who'd been there forever got a year. And if you stayed on until the last day, they paid you for a month to not show up, plus severance plus $5,000 bonus. I ended up quitting before all this as I was worried on not finding a new job. Which in hindsight was pretty dumb. I didn't make a lot of money either. About $45,000 per year jobs. You should apply for unemployment now. You don't have to wait to actually be laid off. And it can take a while before being approved. This is how more employers should be, absolutely. This should be basic courtesy. That's good news in an unfortunate situation. I had a domestic violence incident and had to take 2 weeks off, which I know hurt my productivity. When it came time for layoffs, I know my absence was the reason I was put on the chopping block because I was an otherwise outstanding employee. They didn't give me 2 weeks notice, though. When I asked why I couldn't log into my email one morning, HR called me 2 hours later to let me know I no longer worked there. I wonder if we spoke on the phone. You can guess my occupation. Lul, if op didn't have 4 years on Reddit with other posts and other subs, I would have said this was a hiring representative for Modicare that needed applications. I'm happy you had a good experience with getting let go op. This should be the norm and the legal requirement. Op, I'm really happy to read this. I'm glad that a sensible arrangement was made under the circumstances. Good luck. I strive to provide that kind of leadership to our team in a call center. It makes a huge difference in everyone's lives when we do the right thing. Awful nice to finally see a positive post here. Kept thinking from the first layoff, oh shucks, here we go again, and had my disappointed head shake already and everything. So good to not have to use it. Bruh, I thought this was antiwork. Posts like these are important in our antiwork. Part of the reason Occupy Wall Street failed is that they didn't have list of concrete demands. This post is a good example of best practices a company should follow to create a healthy work environment. I worked for a cruise line for 5 years. Even during pandemic. Overall it was a great company. Genuinely enjoyed the work, the people, etc. The company was great when my dad passed, allowing me to work remotely from another country so I could be home for 2 months. Any time I took off they automatically took it out of my sick leave rather than vacation, encouraging me to take more time off, etc. Then they got 2 new managers for our department. Oh idea why we needed 2. But they were horrible. Both hired externally and had no idea how things worked or anything. As the senior person out of the department, it was always me having to tell them, no it doesn't work like that, no you can't do that. Otherwise they were fucking clients over. But they baits me for it. They just wanted yes people. They played very clear favorites. It was obvious to everyone. Slowly these managers made up a BS reason to terminate my employment with immediate effect. I'm happier though. Within 2 weeks I got a job laying $2 more an hour and even a company car and gas card. Got laid off at Verizon Wireless call center. They gave multiple months notice and hosted classes to do resume boosters and go over interview BDPS. It was very nice. Sounds like they did right by you, man. Good to hear. For the record, the company's name is MotiveCare. Guess we need a new moniker for these types of posts. How about name and fame? To be honest, it seems like it would be a piece of piss running a business in the US. People want to work, and if you back them up and push them, they'll push for you. The capitalist mindset is such a prisoner theory set up.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.